Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. First off, I want to apologize for not getting a video out last week. We traveled 500 miles on the day before the video went up, and when we got to where we were going, it was 21 degrees outside, but the wind chill, I would be willing to bet it was 0 degrees. It was the coldest I think my bare hands have ever felt in their life. That was so cold. Anyway, we weren't able to get it, but we are here now. We are home, but I want to show you the one thing for RVing that I have, even though I don't own an RV because we rent all the time, but it's something that I have for myself regardless, and it is the crappiest stuff you'll ever use. When you're RVing, you have to get rid of your gray water, which is like your sink and shower water, and then you have to get rid of your black waste, which is your pee and poop. It's all got to be gotten rid of somehow, sometime. We had to do it quite a bit on the trip because there's 6 of us living in that trailer and we were gone for a month, so we had to drain it a lot. And one thing I've learned over RVing for years now is that I prefer a specific brand and system for getting rid of any waste tank materials out of the trailer. And so I have my own because 1, I don't know how the person's kind of treated it before, and 2, I don't want to get out there with something that they have that's kind of not as nice or junky. And when I say nice, these aren't really any more expensive, they're just a better built system. And so I'm gonna show it to you. First and foremost is I always bring my Stinky Slinky ramp. This kind of slinkies out a little bit and you can stack the hose on it, but allows that fluid to travel downhill instead of dropping off the trailer and then possibly having to go uphill. No trailer park is perfect and no two are alike, so you're always having to kind of adjust these as you're out there. This is one thing that I don't see a lot of the RVs I rent having. Some do, some don't, but not all of them, so I have one for myself anyway. Next is my crappy bin. That's seriously what this thing should be called. It is an entire bin full of goods that I use, but it's in a bin so that 1, it's contained, and 2, it's all together when I need it. Because what's in here is touching fecal matter, and that's disgusting, but it's got to be dealt with. So I want to at least keep it contained in here so that nobody else is having to deal with it, or so that it's not touching any other parts of my camper or my camping gear. It's really gross when I pull up to an RV to rent it and they've got this guy just hanging out in the basement next to everything else, like their freshwater hose and all that. That is just gross to me. So I keep mine contained in a bin so that it's just protected. So first and foremost is the Stinky Slinky itself, the hose that you will use. These ones, they collapse really small, but they go out to 10 feet in length. And you can get bigger ones if you want, but I like how small these ones collapse. And I like how rigid they are because when they're on that ramp, if you don't use all of the length, you tighten it up and it really will stay that tight the entire time you're in the campsite. So they're really good to use, and when you buy them, they come with their own lids and caps, so it's sealed. And that's why it doesn't open and close very well, because the air is sealed in there right now. So none of whatever junk was in there from camping is kind of seeping out or leaking. It's really contained, and that's the key to dealing with this kind of waste. So I have 2 of those every time. That'll at least give me 20 feet. And the last place we stayed, I needed 15 of the 20 feet, so I just scrunched up 5 feet of it and put it out, and it was good to go. In order to connect those hoses to wherever your tank has got to drain into, you need one of these. This is tapered and it can fit 3 different sizes of connections, and you never really know what you're going to get there. Typically you'll be on this one, but not always. So it's nice to have all 3 different threaded sizes, and then you can clip this on, seat it, put your hose in there, and you're connected and sealed. And I like it threaded if any way possible, because that way it can't bump off. Sometimes you got to put a rock on, and that just always makes me nervous. But this gives you kind of the best possibility. I like this brand particularly because they're rigid built. But next, they have these clear versions. I like to see what's going out, and that sounds weird, but I really like to know how dirty the tanks still are when you fill them up and drain them multiple times. I want to see if it's getting cleaner or if it's still just as dirty, because then that tells me I've got some work to do on cleaning out that black tank. And to further that, I like to see it up by the trailer. So I typically will connect this one or this one directly to the trailer and then my hoses to it. So whichever the system requires, you know, if I'm going straight out from it, or if I got to cut down and go farther, or who knows what that campground particularly requires for getting to that right angle, that right pitch. but I have all that I need to do it with, and these really work well. And last but not least, when you're done using them, I have this. You stick this on the end of the hose, like so. It clips on and seals. Then you put a hose on there, and you can wash these out really well and drain it, and it kind of shoots the water up through the hoses, so that when you're putting them away, you're putting them away as clean as they possibly can be, and it's not just directly poopy water coming out of there. I know it's a real simple kit, but it's the kit I take with me no matter where I go RVing. I never use their stuff because I'm yet to find an RVer that's as particular as I am, that's willing to rent theirs out. So I just bring my own, and I'm happy with it, and I'm really not into this much. Maybe 50 bucks total, 60 bucks at the worst, and I just have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that my gear is kind of cleaner. I know what it's been through, I know how it's been maintained, and I like that feeling. And I just can never remember how to get this back in all the way. It's like a fun jigsaw when you're done camping too. That's really cool. In case you weren't, like, you know, tired or worn out or anything. Put it back, seal it, and this goes in the garage with this, and they stay there until the next camping trip. And when I go, I just grab this and I'm off. And I even tell the owners of most of the vehicles I rent, leave your stuff at home because I don't want it. So I don't have to store it here while we're gone. They don't always do that, but if I can, I like that. Guys, this is a simple task, and I hope you've enjoyed these RV ones. If you haven't seen the family vlogs that we put out while on this RV trip, I'm gonna link the other channel we have, that's my wife's channel. This shows all the adventures and excitement we were able to have when we were in Florida and Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, New Mexico, Colorado, and here in Utah. So if you want to check out those videos, go check them out. Tell my wife that I sent you in the comments so she knows. And once again, I'll link all this stuff down below for you. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And until then, we'll see you next time. For today's task, video outlast, you have to get rid of your own Joy, and I like a certain brand of black waste tank. I don't necessarily like the way they've stored them on any RV I take. For getting rid of any waste tank, gosh, what am I saying? Blackwater's got to go in the, who knows what, you know, the